The Myth of Pandora. Hello, dear viewers. Today, we will delve into the fascinating myth of Pandora, a story that reveals profound aspects of human nature and our relationships with the gods. The myth of Pandora is one of the most well-known and instructive stories of ancient Greek mythology, which addresses questions of evil, curiosity, and hope. This myth emphasizes that evil and suffering are integral parts of human existence, but alongside them, there is also hope, which allows people to overcome difficulties. The myth of Pandora remains relevant because it touches on eternal themes of human nature, curiosity, and responsibility for one's actions. Background: Prometheus and the gift of fire. The myth of Pandora is closely connected with the story of Prometheus, a titan who sympathized with humans and sought to help them. According to the myth, after Zeus overthrew his father Cronus and established his rule over Olympus, humans lived in dire conditions. They did not know how to harness fire and were forced to rely on primitive means of existence. Seeing the suffering of humans, Prometheus decided to help them by stealing fire from the gods and giving it to humans. This led to the rise of civilization as humans could cook food, make weapons, and develop crafts. However, this act of Prometheus provoked the anger of Zeus, who believed that fire was a divine gift meant exclusively for the gods. Zeus decided to punish Prometheus and, more importantly, the humans to whom the Titan had given the fire. Thus, the foundation was laid for the creation of the myth of Pandora. The creation of Pandora. To take revenge on Prometheus and humanity, Zeus devised a cunning plan. He decided to create the first female being, which he hoped would become a source of trouble and suffering for men. To this end, he turned to Hephaestus, the god of blacksmithing, and tasked him with creating a woman from clay. Hephaestus executed the task with great skill. His creation was incredibly beautiful and attractive. After the creation of the woman, who was named Pandora, the gods of Olympus began endowing her with their gifts. Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, gave Pandora unparalleled attractiveness and the ability to enchant men. Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare, taught her crafts and endowed her with a sharp mind. Hermes, the god of cunning and trade, granted her the ability to seduce and speak sweetly. Collectively, Pandora became a symbol of all the gifts the gods had endowed her with. However, despite all of Pandora's beauty and skills, her purpose was far from benign. Deep down, Pandora carried a fragment of deception and treachery, which Hermes had instilled in her. But the most important gift, which played a decisive role in the myth, was the jar that Zeus gave Pandora with the instruction to never open it. Pandora and Epimetheus. After creating Pandora, Zeus sent her to Earth to Epimetheus, the brother of Prometheus. Unlike his far-sighted brother, Epimetheus was more naive and less cautious. Previously, Prometheus had warned him not to accept any gifts from Zeus, as he suspected the supreme god's deceitful intentions. However, upon seeing Pandora, Epimetheus was blinded by her beauty and could not resist the temptation. He accepted her as a gift from the gods and made her his wife. At first glance, Pandora was the perfect wife, beautiful, intelligent, and talented. However, within her grew a curiosity that, as Prometheus had warned, could lead to catastrophic consequences. The jar she had received from Zeus became increasingly enigmatic to her. Pandora knew she was strictly forbidden to open it, but could not rid herself of the agonizing desire to discover what was inside. The opening of the jar. tormented by curiosity, Pandora eventually could not resist and opened the jar. The moment the jar's lid was lifted, all the evils that had been sealed inside escaped. Diseases, suffering, sorrow, poverty, hatred, wars, and death. These misfortunes began to spread across the world, invading every home and human heart. Pandora, horrified, realized she had made an irreparable mistake. As she attempted to close the jar, she noticed that something else remained inside, the last force that Zeus had not allowed to be released with the other disasters. This force was hope. In the myth, hope remains in the jar, although interpretations of this moment vary. Some believe hope stayed inside to support humanity, while others think it was kept inside so that people couldn't hope for something better. Symbolism of the myth. The myth of Pandora is filled with profound symbolism which scholars and philosophers have interpreted in various ways over the centuries. One of the key symbols of the myth is the contradiction between a gift and a punishment. Pandora was created as a gift to humanity, but her purpose was to bring suffering. This emphasizes the idea that outward beauty and delightful gifts can hide danger and destruction within. Another important symbol is human curiosity. Pandora, despite the prohibition, could not resist opening the jar. This highlights the theme of the inevitability of human mistakes and the inevitable confrontation with the consequences of one's actions. In the myth, Pandora's curiosity leads to catastrophe, but it is also an integral part of human nature that drives people to explore and discover new things. Hope, which remained in the jar, is also a significant element of the myth. It symbolizes the ability of people to cope with difficulties and find the strength to survive even in the most challenging conditions. Although evil was unleashed, hope remains as solace and motivation for the continuation of life. Significance for ancient Greek culture. The myth of Pandora reflects the worldview of the ancient Greeks and their understanding of human nature and the gods. It embodies the idea that the gods can be both generous and treacherous, and humans are vulnerable before their will and fate. The myth illustrates the importance of caution in dealings with the gods, emphasizing that even the most beautiful gifts can have hidden negative consequences. The myth also underscores the importance of adhering to prohibitions and divine instructions. The ancient Greeks believed that violating prohibitions, especially those from the gods, could lead to catastrophic consequences. This highlights the role of humility and respect for established order. Although human nature, as shown in the myth, cannot completely suppress its desire for knowledge and new experiences. Pandora and the role of women in ancient culture. Pandora, as the first woman in the myth, is a key figure for understanding the ancient Greeks' attitude toward women and their role in society. In some interpretations, she is portrayed as the symbolic source of all human woes, aligning with the widespread view of ancient Greeks regarding women as a potential threat to social order and stability. This image is also found in other myths, such as the story of Eve in biblical tradition, where a woman also becomes the cause of humanity's fall. However, it is important to note that Pandora is not an unequivocally negative figure. Her action is the result of human curiosity and the desire for knowledge, which makes her a symbol not only of suffering, but also of the pursuit of truth. In this sense, Pandora embodies both negative and positive aspects of human nature. Influence of the myth on subsequent culture. The myth of Pandora has influenced art, literature, and philosophy, not only in ancient Greece, but also in later periods. During the Renaissance and the modern era, Pandora's image became the subject of numerous works, which sought to reinterpret her symbolism in light of new philosophical and religious ideas. For instance, in Renaissance art, Pandora was often depicted as a beautiful yet tragic figure whose curiosity led to humanity's suffering. In literature, her story was interpreted as a metaphor not only for female curiosity, but also for humanity's tendency towards self-destruction through the pursuit of knowledge. Some poets and writers even saw in Pandora a symbol of cultural progress, which is always accompanied by certain difficulties and risks. Conclusion: the myth of Pandora is one of the most well-known and instructive stories of ancient Greek mythology, which addresses questions of evil, curiosity, and hope. This myth emphasizes that evil and suffering are integral parts of human existence, but alongside them, there is also hope, which allows people to overcome difficulties. The myth of Pandora remains relevant because it touches on eternal themes of human nature, curiosity, and responsibility for one's actions. If you found this interesting, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit the bell icon to not miss new uploads. Thank you for watching.